Gregor Eisenhorn is one of the most compelling and richly developed characters in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. He is an inquisitor of the Ordo Xenos, one of the many divisions of the Imperial Inquisition, responsible for rooting out and eliminating alien threats to the Imperium of man. But Eisenhorn's story, as told through the masterfully written novels by Dan Abnett, evolves far beyond that simple designation. Across several trilogies, short stories, and interwoven character arcs, Eisenhorn becomes the lens through which we experience the moral complexity, horror, and psychological weight of life in the 41st millennium. Born on the planet Hubris, Eisenhorn began his training for the Inquisition at an early age, demonstrating strong leadership, investigative prowess, and latent psychic ability. His journey began with the novel Xenos, where we see him as a relatively young and idealistic inquisitor. At this point in his life, Eisenhorn is a Puritan. He believes in strict adherence to the doctrines of the Inquisition and the Imperium. He abhors chaos, alien influence, and anything remotely tainted, and he conducts himself with the dignity and sense of justice expected of one who speaks with the Emperor's authority. But the galaxy is not so black and white. As Eisenhorn investigates heresy, alien artifacts, chaos cults, and ancient conspiracies, he comes to understand that the tools of the enemy can be incredibly effective and dangerously seductive. Over time, he begins to use forbidden technologies, psychic methods, and even chaos-tainted instruments in his pursuit of greater threats. His infamous use of a demon host, a bound and imprisoned warp entity named Cherubile, marks a turning point in his fall from Puritanism to radicalism. Though he always insists he is using dark powers to protect humanity, this justification mirrors the very thinking he once hunted in others. Eisenhorn's evolution is further complicated by the personal losses he suffers. Friends, lovers, and allies perish or are corrupted in the course of his long service. His once close circle of acolytes begins to fracture as some follow him into the gray, while others abandon or betray him, believing he has strayed too far. Despite this, Eisenhorn persists, his will ironclad, his sense of duty unshaken, though increasingly warped by the burdens he carries. Across the trilogy, Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus, we see his transformation from the Inquisition's shining example to a hunted man, feared by other inquisitors as much as the enemies he once pursued. His methods make him powerful and dangerous, and though his intentions remain centered on the protection of mankind, his radicalism and use of heretical means place him in opposition to the very institution he once served with purity. He continues to play a role in later novels, such as the Ravener trilogy, which follows one of his former students, and the Bequin trilogy, which brings together various threads of the Eisenhorn saga in a story that touches on the metaphysical nature of reality, the imperial truth, and the deepest secrets of the warp and the Golden Throne itself. Eisenhorn is also psychically powerful, classified as a sanctioned psyker, and he uses his abilities in subtle and terrifying ways, reading minds, banishing demons, or bending lesser wills to his command. Eisenhorn's story is not just a tale of heresy or heroism, it is a tragedy of conviction and compromise. He begins with a clear belief in good and evil and ends as a man who can no longer tell the difference, only what must be done. He is a man who has seen the Imperium for what it is, a decaying empire held together by fear and brutality, yet still worth saving at all costs. In many ways, Gregor Eisenhorn represents the soul of Warhammer 40,000, a universe where there are no heroes, only survivors who must choose between damnation and despair. He is not a space marine or a demigod. He is a human being with all the strengths and flaws that entails, standing against the impossible in a galaxy gone mad. And through him, we see not only the darkness of that galaxy, but the flickering light of what humanity still tries to protect.